What's in a name? That's something that I usually now have been thinking about a lot due to this supposed upcoming update around the fall time frame, fall winter, that's supposed to redesign the interface of Windows. Supposedly supposed to be one of the biggest updates to Windows in almost a decade. So that's today's video. Let's talk about that. Windows 10 Sun Valley, Windows 10, Windows 10.1. Those are all the names that I've been thinking about in my head when it comes to this fall release. And it's been harking me back that Apple recently released macOS Big Sur, which is supposedly macOS 11 internally, but we won't see that. It's mainly for the tech people and internal. The consumers will see Big Sur as their version of macOS. And it came to be thinking, with the preview builds of Windows 10 in the Insider program, we see build like 21369 and all these little like 5-digit terms. And then when the major releases come out, we just hear that it's like the May update, it's the winter update, it's whatever update. And it kind of is confusing to consumers, right? When you ask a tech support, I have an issue with my computer, and they ask what version is it running. No consumer can really say what version of Windows they're running. All they can say is they're running Windows 10. But Windows 10 has been around for a long time. Since 2015, Windows 10 has been around, overtaking Windows 8.1 before that. And that's when I asked myself, again, what's in the name? Because this fall, if we are in fact getting this version, which has been hinted at by Satya Nadella at Build and a number of other people, Panos Panay as well, like when we hear about these names, that's when it really does tell me that. So we have new icons, and it looks like they're trying to throw away some of the old crappy icons. I posted on Twitter some old icons for that are in Windows right now. If you go to your System 32 folder, you can scroll down and see a bunch of legacy icons going all the way back to Windows 95 days, and some of them even before that. There's just a cluster of icons that are just very old. They have recently, in the dev channel builds, they have recently updated the font inside Windows. They are trying to get a new default font for the computer as a whole. They introduced Sego UI variable, which is supposed to easily stretch. It's almost like a vector font that easily stretches between different sizes of computer, so you don't have to use a different font type completely when you have a different size. It'll just be clear throughout, which is really nice. Me being a graphic designer and photographer and just artist in general, something I really appreciate. Icons, we've been getting the Fluent icon updates. Everything is just becoming one type of icon design style, which is consistent. Whether or not you like the way it looks, those icons look, it's trying to become more and more consistent, and it's taking them time to update every icon that everyone uses to that new thing. And it's going to be tough because we're still under Windows NT overall, which we've been in the past for a long time. And overall, it looks like there's some new features coming. Windows 10X was pretty much killed off, and they said they're going to use some of the technology of Windows 10X to put inside Windows 10. It could be used in other places, such as Windows 10. We've seen hints of floating elements, such as floating right-click taskbar elements that you can see are slightly detached, just like the Windows 10X start menu design. We're seeing them slowly try to incorporate or work in the elements of Windows 10X, what was good about it, into it. We've seen a new Action Center design that is in Windows 10X. We've seen just a lot of things that they've been thinking about. They're pulling from Windows 10X and they're putting it into this Windows 10 itself. And remember, Windows 10X was a computer operating system for different kind of devices. It started off as dual screen devices, such as the Surface Neo, which they showed off when the Surface Duo was being announced as well. And of course the Duo came out, Neo did not. And then we also had later on, Windows 10X got changed to just being an OS for single screen devices first, and they'd work on dual screen later. And of course the recent news of it being just killed off completely. So they've been trying to think and work and all this stuff. And it just gets me thinking, if we're getting a whole new UI, or at least a refreshed UI, a redesigned UI, harken to like automakers where they refresh mid-cycle and then they redesign later on, right? Should we get a new name? So right here I have listed, and you saw it in the title, just kind of 3 names, and I said in the beginning. So we have Windows 10. Would they just call it Windows 10, the fall update, or the new update? Will they call it Windows 10.1? Which, to me, honestly, that sounds the greatest to me. It just makes sense. That way, major releases get the 10.1 name. Maybe they can do 10.1 point whatever. You know, let's say the Insider Dev Channel builds. Right now I'm running 21.390. So we can do Windows 10.1.21390 as the build in 10.1 that I'd be running. That could make more sense. So we can be more specific. We go broad to specific. Or should we go the Apple route? Should we go into Windows 10.1 Sun Valley or Windows 10 Sun Valley? Similar to Mac OS 11 Big Sur, we're at 11.4 Big Sur right now. Should we go to Windows 10.1 Sun Valley as a simple naming scheme, or should we just do Windows 10 Sun Valley and that version is 10.1? You know, underneath it all, is it just 10.1? Should we do that? And that's where I was talking about with this video of what's in a name, because it gets really nitty-gritty and confusing. You got the creators update, you got the fall update, you got just the May update, a cumulative update, you got all that stuff. I've broken it all down on the channel. But should we go simple finally for normal consumers? And obviously businesses is a whole different story, but should we go simple for the naming, since that's the point of this video? Should we just do Windows 10.1 Sun Valley? And should we just start naming Windows based on the code names, you know, that they put in internally? Should we just do that? Because I remember we had Windows 10 Threshold at one point. Should we just say, you know what, if this is going to be a major refresh, this is going to be the newest thing, the freshest thing since past almost decade, should we just call it Windows 10 Sun Valley or Windows 10.1 Sun Valley? Call it even, and that's it. And if you want to do minor updates in the middle of it while Sun Valley is the main, should we just add an extra decimal point and just say Windows 10.1 Sun Valley or Windows 10.1 point whatever, as we give features, patches, and things like that out? And then every major release of Windows, maybe every major release of Windows gets the next decimal point number up. So it's like Windows 10.2 Arcadia, Windows 10.3 San Francisco, I don't know. So should we do that? Should we do Windows 10.4 Redmond and things like that? And each one of those new naming schemes will have a major design change, or not major design change, major feature addition / removal. Should we just do that? That's the question I have for you guys in this video. What do you think? What is in a name? What should we call, what would you call this new fall release for Windows if it comes out this fall? What should we call it? Should we just call it Windows 10 Sun Valley? Should we call it Windows 10.1 Sun Valley? Drop Sun Valley altogether and just call it Windows 10.1? Like how we had Windows 8.1? Because as far as I see here, Mac OS 10.1 was Puma, which was released in 2001. Should we just do Mac OS 10.1 Puma and Windows 10.1 Sun Valley? Should we just do that? Make it much simpler. No more, when people see updates on check for updates on Windows, no more crazy names. Just call it Windows 10.1 X. And then if you want to do cumulative updates, you can do that too. You just make it in the description saying this is a cumulative update, so you don't have to update 10,000 things at once. What do you guys think in the comment section below? My name is Kwaku, and stay tuned because next week, Thursday, I think it's June 10th, got a surprise for you all. Something I've been working on for a while now. Stay tuned. It's going to be a little different from what I normally do. And take care.